Okay, good morning, students. This is Manish, sir. And for today's session, we are actually discussing about the changing face of audiovisual in this new normal. Like uh, with the COVID-19 and pandemic coming into the cinema from, say, late March in India, the audiovisual scenario has entirely changed. It is just like it has been revised and rewritten and things like that. So today we have among ourselves Mr. Devashish Chen Sharma. He's also my teacher when I was like studying my film studies and media studies. He was my teacher in the university. So welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Mr. Devashish Chen Sharma is a postgraduate in English and film studies from Jadavpur University. Since 2000, he is working independently as a filmmaker, playwright, and a theater director in different areas of communication and collaborations. Okay, uh, he has done two films. One is Bicycle Kick, and one is Arunadev, and I have assisted him in both the films. And he has also done numerous TVCs, where also I have assisted him. Academically, he is associated with many national and international universities with his scholarship in film studies and performance. Currently, he is the founder director of Chai Pani, a creative boutique and a collective. Okay, then over to you, sir. Just before proceeding, I'll just ask the students, like if you have any question, you can write down in the chat box, then we can discuss that during the Q&A session.
Is it possible that I can see all of them on screen together?
Oh yes, please switch on your videos, students.
Yeah.
Please switch on your videos, all of you. Yeah, because it's like in our class also, sir used to always say that, you know, to look at the faces to communicate.
It's very important. Yes, I cannot speak. I think I'm speaking to some wall.
Yes.
Okay.
So please, students, please switch on your videos, all of you.
Great.
Yes, sir.
Welcome all of you to this wonderful session. I assume, Manish, how many students will be there today? Can I have a small guess?
Just a minute, sir. Something around 38 students are presently logged in. So it's increasing, sir. It's 39 now.
Great. So yeah.
Students who have joined late, please your videos. Yeah, thank you. So yes, sir.
Okay, so already Manish gave a quite a handsome introduction of who am I, but it's very important for me to know who you are because it's very two-way process. It's not a lecture. Today is an orientation kind of thing, so it's not a lecture. We should have an interactive session from the very beginning only, and it should be very organic, this learning process. So quickly, can you just tell your name one by one, very quickly, and what are you doing now, and share one of your strength and one of your weakness. Yeah, I can see the names, so I can just start say Shayon Ramanik. And if you keep all the other audios mute, it will be great. I can't hear. I'm old, so I have a problem in hearing. So if I can't hear you, Shawn, you have to unmute your video. We'll come back to you because I can't hear you properly. Then I can see Anushka.
Hello sir, I'm Anushka Kaur and my strength is my mom and my Q2, my pet dog, and my weakness is losing someone I love.
Good morning sir, my name is Indrakshi Shaha. I'm studying BSc Media Science. I believe my strength lies in me being optimistic, confident and trying to seek perfection. And I feel that my weakness is me being stubborn. Like I don't tend to try to dive deeper into the subject and learn more things about it, and I don't stop till I get to know about the entire thing.
Yeah. Okay. Rajat.
Good morning, sir. My strength is actually I have a very learning kind of attitude. I am very much receptive. This is my strength. And my weakness is I can't interact with strangers. I am very introvert type of person.
And you were learning in which class?
I am BMS, Bachelor in Media Science.
First year, yeah.
First
Okay.
year.
Ashokman, if I am not pronouncing rightly.
Unmute myself. Can you hear me, everyone?
Yeah.
My name is Sukmandeep. I study in Bachelor's in Media Science first year, and one of my strength is my leadership quality of how I assume things. Like I have a great mindset of how I can do things, and one of my weakness is that whenever I try to do something like that, I have things in my mind, but I'm unable to pursue that and unable to do a proper life.
Great. Sneha.
Hello, sir. Good morning. I am Sneha Datta, and also I'm studying BSc in Media Science. I believe my strength lies in multitasking, and my weakness is also multitasking, basically. So it's a difficult situation.
Very easily relatable.
Yes.
Shubhabrata.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Shubhabrata Saha. I'm a student of BMS first year, and my strength is I can say my family is my strength, and there is another thing that I don't know my weakness.
Okay. Prapti.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Sir, my name is Prapti from BMS. Sir, I believe in hard work, not good luck. Sir, for me, honesty means a lot. So these are my strength, and my weakness are I trust in every stranger so quickly.
Okay. Dibbajyoti.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. I'm Dibbajyoti. I'm currently studying BSc Media Science. Sir, my strength lies in I like perfection in everything. And one of my weaknesses is I lack confidence in public speaking. I can't interact so well.
Mritika. Unmute your audio.
Hello, sir. Good morning. My name is Mritika. I am studying BMS in first year. My strength is that I can interact with someone very easily. Like I can talk to anyone very easily. And my weakness is I am very fickle-minded. So it is really hard to pay attention in one single thing at a time. So yeah, that is my weakness.
Do you pay attention in class or that also?
Yeah, so like by learning and something, like when I'm studying for exam or something, it's really hard to pay attention because like a simple noise from outside, like just the clock ticking will like divide my attention. So yeah.
Okay, Ishani.
Good morning, sir. I am Ishani Datta. I am pursuing BSc Media Science. I think my strength is that I work really well under pressure, and I think my weakness is that I procrastinate a lot and I can be pretty lethargic at times.
Okay. Shreya.
Good morning, sir. I'm Shreya Pradhan, currently studying BSc in Media Science, and my strength is also the same, doing things at last minute, and my weakness is procrastinating. That's why I'm good at doing things at last minute, sir.
Okay. Shrey.
Good morning, sir. My strength is to do research and debate, and my weakness is that I cannot do multitasking, and I fear in public speaking.
Akash.
Good morning, sir. My name is Akash Pandey. I am studying in BSc in Media Science. My strength is my mom, and my weakness is my anger.
Samita.
Good morning, sir. I'm from BSc Media Science. My strength is, am I audible?
Yeah, very much.
My strength is I don't get easily distracted. So can I do my work concentrately for hours and hours? And my weakness is that I can get easily irritated by someone if I get once irritated.
Okay. Disha. Disha, you're not audible. Disha, you're not audible. Still, I think you're not audible. I don't know. Can you check your sound once?
No, I think there is some problem in your connection. Like,
yeah,
there's some noises, but your voice is not coming.
Right. So we can
jack properly fitted? Is your jack the
headphone jack is properly plugged in?
So my name is Disha De and I am from BSc in Media Science, and my one of strength is my positive thinking, and my weakness is lack of confidence and trusting someone easily. So that's it.
Sitama?
Good morning, sir. I'm Sritama China, currently studying in BSc Media Science. One of my strengths is I can communicate with people very easily. I'm a very friendly kind of person and genuine to everyone. And weakness is I'm a little bit emotional and trust people easily.
Great. Gaurav.
Good morning, sir. My name is Gaurav Singhania and I'm pursuing BSc in Media Science. So my weakness, my strength is that I am honest all the time. And my weakness are I am a very shy person, sir.
Okay. Then I can see Shomudipto.
Hello, sir. So my name is Shomudipto Roy, and I'm from BMS, and I'm a fun-loving person, and mostly I like to do my works by giving 100% to it, and so yeah, that's how this is my thing.
Great. Akash.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
A very good morning, sir. Myself, Akash Chaudhary. I'm pursuing BSc Media Science. My weakness is I can pretty much convince anyone with my speaking skills. I can communicate very well. And my weaknesses are a slice of pizza, I think.
That's much. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A slice of pizza will work always.
Yeah. Great. So I think everyone now gets to know your weakness point, and they will bribe you with a slice of pizza and it's done. Okay, great. Shoham.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I'm Shoham. I'm pursuing BSc in Film and Television. My strengths are I'm kind of super optimistic and I can work hard a lot. I have a lot of willpower, and my weaknesses are at some points I'm super perfectionistic. Like I want the best of the best, and sometimes I don't even require it. So that is my weakness.
You don't even require it means, can we clarify that point a little bit?
The situation doesn't demand that much perfection or that much precise quality or in any kind of thing, but my kind of thing is that I want the best of the best in my work, in anything I'm buying, anything required to that.
Okay, great. Sudipta, can you unmute your microphone? Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
My name is Sudipta Maiti. I'm currently studying in BSc Film and Television. My strength is I'm a very friendly, vivacious kind of a person. My weaknesses is I'm a way too extrovert.
Okay. Great. Aronno.
Good morning, sir. I study in BSc in Filmmaking and Television. So my strength is that I'm very optimistic. I work well under pressure, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. And stubbornness is both my strength and weakness.
Great. Shubhabrata. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, sir. I said.
Yeah. Audible.
I said, sir. I introduced myself.
What was your weakness?
So my weakness was I was a very shy type of person.
Well, hold. Who's Gaurav I'm talking to? So no, I'm talking to Gaurav Day actually. Yes, I'm saying.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I'm studying BSc in Film and Television Production, and I'm a performer. So sometimes I feel nervous. So I'm the one who pushes myself and holds myself from feeling nervous. So I feel music and me myself is my strength.
So what do you perform generally?
I'm a singer.
Singer. Okay.
Yes. So I feel I'm my own strength and music obviously, and my weakness. Um, I don't know.
Find it out in next 3 months.
Okay.
Jivotashu.
Good morning, sir. My name is Divitashu Vishwas, and one of my strengths is I can learn whatever you want me to learn, and my weakness is I am very short-tempered. I get.
You have been
short-tempered. I am so.
Short-tempered. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sridhama done, Shom done. Smita. No, Shomita.
Sir, I'm from BSc Media Science. My strength is that I can work like long hours. I can get distracted easily, but I can't control. My weakness is that I can't control my angriness.
You can control your what?
I can't get distracted easily, but I can't. I'm short-tempered.
Short-tempered. There are so many short-tempered students in the class. This is very risky for the teachers, I'm sure. All the best to Manish and other faculties. So yeah. Okay. Someone was there and then that person got lost. Is anyone left to be introduced? I can't see. If anyone is left, please volunteer and introduce in the midway. Don't worry. So,
good morning, sir. I'm Shopnil Chakraborty. I've taken up the course BSc
hold
Media
on.
Science.
Shopnil. Yeah, tell me.
Good morning, sir. My name is Shopnil Chakraborty. I have taken up the course BSc Media Science. My strength is doing a particular job in a teamwork, and my weakness is nervousness.
Okay. Orko, I can see.
I'm from BSc Media Science, and
where is your camera and where are you looking? There are
actually in front of me there is my screen, and just here there's my camera.
Oh, so look at the camera.
So my strength, I still can't figure out what my strength is, but I never get used to nervous on stage or something, and at some points in some of the exams or so, I don't know a bit about anything, but I used to get myself confident and face the exam. But my what do you say? But there is one failures in me that I am very much what I say. I don't know. I'm very much inconfident about my decision makings, and I used to take a lot of time to choose something. Like,
what was the last wrong decision you have taken in life?
Last wrong decision. I don't remember. Like, suddenly I was working with someone in a studio. So at a point, I felt like I'm an outsider, and I left the studio suddenly within a day, and the whole curriculum was down at that moment. Actually, they was in need of a recordist, and I am a recordist. Actually, I'm a post-production. I used to be the post-production manager of the studio, and I left in a day. I was a recordist, so that was my last wrong decision. I hope so.
So you can also leave the class in a day suddenly, just feeling.
No, not in any academic position, but in any workflow, I did that.
Okay, great. So we just got to know each other a little bit more. Okay, regarding my strength and weakness, I should also share. I think my strength is that I'm very good in working in groups. Like I had been doing films, I've been doing theater, I'm into teaching. So all these things need group. It's not a single activity. So I'm very good in groups. And my weakness is any kind of early morning activity. That's the highest I'm scared of. Any kind of early morning activity. So except for shooting, I hate waking up early. As Manish also knows that when we shot my first feature film, Bicycle Kick, the film was on football. So we had to give the call time in the early morning, like 5:30, 6. So I started my anxiety symptoms since yesterday night. That I have to wake up at 4:30 and go to the field by 5:30 and start shooting by 6. So that was a difficult thing for me. Else, rest of the day I'm fantastic. I'm even better. Okay, great. So you guys are quite aware of the session that we're having today. It's about the future of audiovisual, if you can say. But just asking, do you know that how cinema evolved? How this cinema came into existence? If I ask you a quiz question, when was first cinema invented on this earth? What will be the answer?
1898.
1898. 1898, one option. Any other options? When was cinema born?
I think it's after 1930.
Be a little louder. After?
The 1930. I'm not sure though.
After 1930. Okay. What else? Come up with more answers.
First motion picture.
Yeah. Who was saying first motion?
So the first motion picture was made in 1888.
1888. Anyone want to say anything else? Any other contribution?
Is it 1895?
1895. Who said it?
Sir Gaurav De from BSc FTP.
Okay. Did you Google it and find it now?
Kind of, sir. I was confused.
Yeah.
So I saw.
So yeah, so you know, gray hairs matters finally. So the thing is that quiz-wise, it's a right answer, but actually, if you ask me, it's not a right answer. Why? But quiz-wise, it's a right answer. It's 1895, and Lumiere brothers, they made their first feature film, not feature film, they made their first motion picture. But cinema was not born in one single day. And why am I saying this? Because it's very important to the relevance of the discussion with COVID. See, remember that of the cave painting and the caveman. In history, we have read about the caveman and cave painting. So they used to paint on the wall, right? They could see the bird flying, and suddenly they saw the bird and started painting the bird on the wall. Why do you think they used to paint the bird on the wall? What was the reason?
So
What
to communicate.
prompted it?
So to communicate.
To communicate, one, right? Anything else?
So to share their experiences with others.
To share the experience with others, right?
To express their views.
To express
These
their
all
views.
things recorded.
Sorry, to?
So keep these
Capture
things
the memory.
documented.
Who? To keep things recorded. Who said this?
I'm Parman.
Right, Shayan, no?
Yes.
Right, rightly said. Definitely to communicate, definitely express their views, but primarily to keep things recorded. So when they saw that this bird was flying, they preserved that memory of the bird in their mind and they represented it on the wall. So yeah, from this context, we come to in terms of two important terms. One is real, that the bird is flying, the real bird, the flesh and blood, tangible bird, and representation. That means the one we see on the wall. So please keep this term implanted in your mind very strongly, the word representation, because in your entire course, I'm sure your faculties will be coming up with these terms again and again. So this word representation means representation, as we can analyze the term. So we can get hold of two important terms. One is real, that is happening. Another is representation. It's a memory, Control C, Control V. So we copy in a memory as a hard disk, and then we paste it on the wall. Time flows. We find that with the passage of time, people started living in a space of primitive communism. What is primitive communism? So it was like there was a village kind of thing. People used to stay together and live together. And one group of people in the morning goes for hunting. Another group of people is to stay in the house and doing all household activities and chores. In the evening, when they come back with the tiger, when they kill the tiger and come back, let's assume they kill the tiger. Let's always think for the best. They kill the tiger and come back. That group of people who were doing the household activities throughout the day, they started cooking the tiger. And that group of people who went in the morning for hunting, they started telling us stories about their hunting. So on the one hand, they were the tiger is being roasted. So like tiger Rogan Josh, Dhania tiger, all these different interesting continental dishes were being made. And other group, they were telling the stories. How were they telling the stories? What do you think?
Through painting?
Not exactly. Suppose it's in the evening.
By signs and symbols.
Huh?
Signs and symbols.
Signs and symbols, right, right. Through their body languages. Like if I say like this, I understand it's a bow and arrow. If I say this, I'm fearing. So this, the claw. This led to the emergence of a new language called body language, or we can say this led to the emergence of theater. So theater is born and evolved from that phase of primitive communism when a group of people wanted to express their views or tell their stories through the language of bodies. Their body, this body become your tool, your alphabet. Am I making myself sense to you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Great. So theater came into existence. They started telling stories. There were no sounds. There were no language, no verbal language, no written language. With the passage of time, we find the emergence of verbal language. How did it emerge? Like there were sound previous, like O, A, I, U. They used to make sounds as the primitive people do. From this O, A, I, U, they converted them to alphabets like I, love, you. So that I, the moment I say I, it means, it's meaning this person. If I say love, what is love? It's an emotion. It's a feeling. But they communicated that feeling with certain sound. When they say cow, C-O-W, cow, not the C-O-W, just this pronunciation cow, they meant a animal. We know which animal they mean. Is there any logical connection between the word being pronounced, the sound being created, and the things being pointed out?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So this connection between this object, and if I say this is a sanitizer, this pronunciation, sanitizer, and that object has no connection. So the connection is very arbitrary. The linguists, they call it arbitrary. So there is a emergence of language. Which is the earliest world language? One of the earliest world language. Any idea?
Hebrew.
Hebrew.
Any other option?
Latin.
Latin, Sanskrit, and Anglo-Pantherus is the earliest languages. Okay. So language came into existence. I can express through my words. I can say that okay, the sky is blue. I can say that okay, there are clouds. There are white patches of clouds moving. I can say that birds are flying. I can say and describe to you, and with my description, you can have an idea of the things. So when they started telling stories of their hunting now, they are not only using the body language, they are also speaking. Then I went in front of the forest and I found one tiger coming very slowly towards me. The tiger has a yellow patches with some black small lines. The tiger was sitting very quietly. So this description was not there before when they didn't have this language thing. Am I clear to you? Gradually, we found that words like written words are coming into existence. Written words means like A, B, C, D, O, K, K, everything. Again, the same thing. What is A? This two, one line in some line and then cut in the middle, it becomes A. Who says this is A? There is no logical, rational connection between these lines and the alphabet that I am pronouncing. I just do something like this, it becomes O. Who says so? Few people decided that it will be O. And we had been carrying that decision since 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 years. Don't you find this is fascinating? In a time when you're sitting with all your social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, don't you think it's very fascinating that 10,000 years back, few people who had nothing with them, they decided to have a common code of communication. In communication, the two important things are there should be a sender and there should be a receiver anytime in any form of communication. So and there's a medium, like when I'm a sender, you are the receiver, and Zoom is the medium. So that time few people decided on to change the sounds to words, lines to alphabets, and they created sentences and created meanings. I think that is the most fascinating discovery or invention, whichever you say, though these are two different terms, of human civilization, when they started communicating. After that, okay, till now it is clear to you what I'm trying to say. Any question? Yeah, any question or any query, you just stop me and ask, no problem. So with the passage of time, we could see the emergence of painting, like portrait paintings. That was the primary thing. Portraits of kings and queens and the knights, rajas and zamindars, everything. What was the purpose of these portrait paintings? What do you think?
Sir, I guess painting is a medium of expression, and in a way, even cinema is a medium of expression.
True. Painting is a medium of expression, cinema is a medium of expression, absolutely fine. But why did they wanted to create their portraits?
That time there was no camera, and that was the only way to keep a record of their face. And
they wanted to keep a record of their face. True. Just 1 second. You need to close the door. So they wanted to record their face. That's one important thing. Apart from that, anything else?
As you said before, they wanted to represent.
Sorry, repeat again.
So they're representing themselves.
Representing themselves too.
As I said before.
To show their culture.
Very nice. To show their culture. Can you just elaborate on this?
Sir, their styles, the way, dressing styles, etc. Like this.
Right. Dressing styles, etc. Culture. Anything else? Anything? Can we just move on?
Maybe they wanted to capture a particular emotion or an incident.
True. Emotion. So preserving how they look like, their culture, emotion, dressing sense. What else? In the same line, if we go more.
So their behavior. Sir, behavior.
Behavior, I can still consider that.
Actually, the portraits are made of their own. They try to keep a proper documentation of their personality and their works.
True. Documentation is the important word. So we got words like documentation, preserving, culture, all these things. So if you have seen the portraits, you will understand that in the portraits we find who, first of all, who was the subject of the portrait, content of the portrait, who? The kings primarily. Who can be the patron? তুমি কখন দেখেছো যে in the portrait you find portrait of a worker, portrait of a peasant? Never. The portraits are always the portraits of the kings or the queens or the knights or the great people. Point one. Second point is that in a portrait, have you ever seen the king sitting in on the bed wearing a trouser and wearing a pajama and a sandagenji, wearing a lungi? Have you ever seen the king being that? Never. He's always.
So can I interrupt once?
Sorry?
Can I interrupt once? Sir?
Who asked?
Akash told you. Sir, the paintings are also made to show their work, what they have achieved in the
wall,
life
what they've achieved. Yeah, it is a very important point. So they're standing in front of the wall. The wall is gorgeous. They're wearing few very important ornaments. And in these walls, there's analysis of this painting where they said that the portraits are majorly made with the windows behind them. And from the windows, they could see a wide expanse of space, a land. It meant that, look, this land belongs to me. When they're standing in front of a wall, there's the most decorated corner of the wall. So these portraits are not made primarily to show how the king looked like, but to show how powerful the king was. The portraits are meant to flaunt their wealth, their power. Am I making myself clear? Anything you want to say? Want to ask? Contradict anything?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Can we say that cinema and painting shares another common parameter, like the detailing thing?
We'll keep this question in mind and just answer it after just 10 minutes, because we'll be in that point where we can answer the question. It'll be easier for you to comprehend.
Okay, sir.
So we find painting showing exactly how the king looked like, what I'm wearing, my background, my wealth, my pomp, my grandeur, my power, everything. So it's there. After painting came photography. You have seen photography. So what happens in photography? We find that when the bird is flying, I can get a still image. When the flower is blooming, I'm just having that moment of the bloom, but I just have a click on the flower. Photography became very important innovation of human technology. So if I pause here, if I give a pause here and just try to look back that what was happening, we could find that since this time of caveman to photography, this journey of human civilization is actually the journey, listen to it very carefully, this is a very important point. This journey of human civilization is actually the journey to bridge the gap between this real and the representation. It's very important. We're moving towards a journey to bridge this gap between the real and the representation. This is very, very, very important journey. Why am I saying that? Just think of a bird is flying. Okay. And if I say that few of you are from the time of the caveman, few of you are from the time of the group 2 is from the time of the primitive communism. Group 3 can only speak but cannot write. Group 4 can both speak and write. Group 5 can speak, write and paint. Group 6 can speak, write, paint and can do photography. Now if I tell each group to go and see the bird, come back and represent in your own language. So group 1 will just draw the bird on the wall. That too not with brush and color, but with bricks, eroded bricks. Group 2 will try to enact about the bird, how good the bird is, how about the beak, and do all sort of things to make me understand how the bird look like. Group 3 will try to express how the bird is like this is color, it has all these things, elements. Group 4 will write in more detail. Group 5 will paint the bird with exact colors, with brushes and everything. Group 6, his job is very easy. They just click and show it to me. So which one do you think is the closest to the original bird?
Group 6.
Photograph, obviously the photograph.
So we can see that with the passage of time, what do we want exactly? Human being want two things. One, we want to preserve. That's our basic human instinct. Secondly, we want to be as close to reality, as close to real. So out of this instinct of seeing the frozen bird moving, cinema was born. People wanted to be more real, more close to the original. The original bird moves, right? The original bird flies, but the bird I can see in photograph, can it fly? It's frozen. So I want to see that frozen bird move its wings slowly. So out of that instinct, cinema was born. And we found that these two people, Jean Lumiere and Auguste Lumiere, they invented this form called cinema. But can we really move objects on screen? No. We still have not devised any technology where we can show moving image. What is the technology of cinema? It is a series of still image. When they're projected in a certain speed in front of me, I get an illusion of moving image. Don't make this confusion that people could innovate or invent moving image. No. We created a technology by which we create an illusion of moving image. So when in front of your eye, I know, and your teachers will be teaching you all these things later in detail, in much better way. But just get this information done with you that in front of your eye, when any object moves at the speed of 24 frames per second, it gives you an illusion of moving image. Illusion of the exact speed of the moving image. So by that policy, cinema was born. After cinema was born, it was black and white primarily and silent. Then came sound, then came color. So all these things came one by one. So you can see every time it's getting more close to the real. If I see that the classroom is happening in early period, in early 19th century, early 20th century, it's a black and white silent classroom. Teacher is teaching in his own way, with different pace. They used to have a much faster motion. You can see there are reasons why there are faster motions. Your teachers will teach you all these things. Then the motion become normalized. Step one, motion became normalized. If I am telling hi, so it become hi in the right speed at which I am talking to you. Then color become normalized. And then sound become normalized. We found that sound is coming to cinema. If I'm talking to you, I can hear you. Then color become normalized. So there's so many colors, like now I can see so many people wearing so many different colors. And there are such interesting backgrounds of everyone. So this is actually again a journey to move towards the real. And then came 3Ds. You know what 3D is? What is 3D? What is a 3D film?
It is three-dimensional.
Yeah.
Usually we know 3 dimensions which has three criteria: length, breadth, and height.
That I know, but when I say this is a 3D film, what do I mean exactly? How is a 3D film
Means
different
that
from?
it is, I think it means that it is more realistic than the other films, which I can see.
Who is saying that? I am not finding.
And Bonamani, sir.
3D film is basically where we can actually see or feel the depth, the distance between the subject.
Perspective.
I think it's illusion.
So basically, it's a presence of eye that changing from a flat screen to it changed a mode of presence of eyes that we are watching. That thing change when it comes to 3D.
Yeah. So, what is your experience of seeing first 3D film? Can you share?
It's a realistic experience, if I would. More of a realistic experience than 2D films or videos.
I can share my experience at least. I was very scared when I saw the first 3D film. I was so scared. Suddenly things are coming in front of me. I was thinking, okay, oops, what's happening? I'm knowing everything. That's the technology. I am sitting in the cinema hall. They are really not coming towards me yet. I have to give this expression. Oops! And it has happened to me not only once, many times.
It increases our presence of mind.
Sorry?
It increases our presence of mind at that moment.
Of mind, yeah. It increases our certain sense of perception of the space where I'm sitting. Let me tell you a very small and funny story. When the first film was screened, in one of the first sessions, one of the first films were a train arriving at the station by Lumiere brothers. It was a 40-second film. So it is nothing like that. The camera is placed and the train is arriving at the station. So there was a tent and there was sitting arrangement being made and there was a projection. People were made to sit on the floor and they were seeing the film. 40-second film. For the first time, people are seeing cinema in the world. People have never seen cinema before. You know what happened? The moment the film was shown, everyone was scared. They went out of the tent. Everyone was so scared. They went out of the hall and flew away. Then they requested them, please show. Problem there is not a major problem. It is just a film. There's a screen. Nothing will come out of the screen. Things will remain in the screen only. 50% where they were convinced and 50% were not convinced. Yet they were being put on the hall again. The film was again screened. 50% stayed. 50% went away. So they had to try thrice to make them convinced that this is not scary. The train is not coming on you. They thought that the train will come on them only. Now you may feel funny. Why? Why they will think like that? But imagine if I, being an informed person, technologically aware person, and modern person, quote unquote, sitting in a cinema hall, suddenly feel scared when I see that in Jungle Book that the pebbles are coming towards me. I just have this oops experience. Then think of them 100 years back when they have never seen anything moving on the screen. People had a perception of 2D image on screen. They could see 2D image, but they have never seen something move or still image. They have never seen things moving. So what I'm trying to say that with the passage of time, we are getting more close to reality, which is at times problematic. Like, have you ever seen any 7D or 5D kind of cinema? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where? Science City.
I've seen in Mani Square too.
Yeah, I've seen in Hyderabad.
Okay. Can you share experience? What you see in Mani Square and what was happening there?
Sir, in 7D, it's actually nothing much. It includes all the gestures also. like moving chairs. It close to reality. Like it's just like a roller coaster. We will feel like we are sitting on the roller coaster and the roller coaster goes on. It's like more to reality.
What is your experience in Hyderabad? Can you share?
It's scary.
Sir, in Hyderabad, in
Okay.
Ramoji
Who is
Film
it?
City,
Who is it?
me, Mritika.
Mritika. I can see you.
So we went to Ramoji Film City, and there was this lift kind of thing inside where they were showing this. I'm not sure if it was 5D or 7D at that time because I was really small. So it was basically a film of Ramoji Film City getting destroyed. So everything, including like the heat of the fire, and then the wind, the dust, everything, and the seats were moving, and the waters were spraying, and that. And even when we were going, we were going from first floor to third floor or fifth floor, something like that. When we get down on the floor, even the floors over there were all cracked and all to give us the realistic experience. So it was really nice.
Yeah, I also had experience of 5D and 7D, and I'm very disturbed with all these experiences. So it was not really nice to me. Look, I pay to the hall. I want to sit and relax and see the film, but they're so disturbing you constantly. Sometimes sprinkling waters on you, sometimes moving your seat like anything. So so it was very difficult to have this kind of experience. So reality and that perception is a very important thing when things are changing, and when you're going towards reality in a different way. So coming back to this point of discussion today, why I said all these things, we are really in a trouble time during COVID. The world has got topsy-turvy. Everything is changing, and with the advent of digital, like okay. So after celluloid, there came this thing called digital. The word we often use nowadays. We all know what is digital. We only say we have DSLR camera. That's not being digital. Digital is a mindset. There are many things we can talk about digital, like every form has its own positive aspect and limitation. Celluloid also has its positive aspect. You can see the color in a proper way. And digital, it doesn't work, but digital has made filmmaking very easy. That we can now talk in Zoom and I can see all of you is an advent of digital technology. Without this, we could not have done this. Like you are staying in your own place, I'm staying in my own place. Maybe we could not have met any time in our life, but fortunately, we have met at least once in our life. So at least once you can say that, okay, I have met that person, and I can say that, okay, I have met all of you. So even if we meet for the second time in our life, maybe we get bump in a certain mall, get bump in a cinema hall, bump in any maybe it's in an auto I find you sitting beside me, I can recognize, okay, we have met there. So that physical meeting has a precedence of a digital meeting. So digital is not only a technology, it's a kind of mindset. Digital is a language. When I say digital is a language, what do I mean? I mean exploring the possibilities of using a certain kind of technology in its own way. What happened after the advent of digital? Cameras, which were big, right, shrunken. They became so small, like still camera. But have you ever seen any movie camera before? Any one of you have seen a movie camera? They were very big, like this.
Yes, sir, I have seen movie cameras.
Great. So they were very big, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Difficult to handle them. They were very heavy.
I saw it
You
in a
need
video.
to operate them. But now with the DSLR, just do like this, go, shift, come anywhere. Point one. Point two, the flexibility of movie camera, the flexibility of digital camera is much more than the flexibility of a movie camera. Like there are a few shots which you could not have thought with a celluloid camera because it was heavy. But now with the advent of digital, you can take any kind of shot. Put the camera here, here, on there. Even now you can put the camera on the button of your shirt. and like there are GoPros. There are so many things that are coming out. I'm not bombarding you with options, but the possibility of exploration of shot has been much more with the digital technology. Thirdly, it has become very less expensive and easily available. When I started my career, I can't even think of touching a camera. When I touched the camera for the first time, that night I could not sleep properly. I still remember. That was a ARRI 435 camera, very big camera. The same camera in which Pather Panchali was shot, the same camera. So I was assisting someone and we were shooting an ad film. So I saw the camera, I just touched it like an holy cow, and then saw the camera. Okay, I was so scared. When then my director told me to assist the cameraman in changing the reel. You know, the reel that we put on the camera, we used to put on the camera. That was a different thing. What was the process? I didn't know. I have no clue. So I was told that bring a black cloth. So I brought a big black cloth. Then they told me to cover themselves with the black cloth. So I did that, and then they tell me to go inside the black cloth. So imagine 3 people inside a black cloth. It's like a funny thing happening. And then this camera roll is being brought out. Then they replaced within the black cloth to the other roll, and then we brought it down. Why? Because to avoid sunlight. If sunlight falls on the negative, that will destroy the cellulose, the chemical that is there in the negative. So we call the cellulose, from which the word celluloid has come. So, but nowadays, they just change the chip so easily. Any guess, when we used to shoot in the celluloid, this big reel, you know, I have seen the film reel, right? How it looked like. Each film reel could shoot for 4 minutes, not more than that. And there were another film reel which could shoot for 10 minutes. That was the highest. If you want to have a shot which is of 15 minutes, you cannot do that. For that, you have to customize and make separate film reel. Now, any idea what was the cost of those film reels for 4-minute shot? Any guess, quick guess? 500, 1000, 2000, 3000.
So 4K.
Huh?
4,000.
4,000. There were 12,000 per film reel. 12,000 per film reel for shooting 4 minutes.
In that point of time, sir?
That point of time. 12,000 for shooting 4 minutes. Now, imagine you are shooting for 1 hour. Just imagine shooting for 1 hour. So then you have to spend more than a lakh for the chip which you are using now. What is the cost of a chip now? It's a 16 GB, 32 GB chip, not more than 2,000. Even if it's an extreme card, not more than 2,000. And that will be costing more than 1 lakh. This was the difference. So that was very expensive and very elite kind of art. But now with the digital, it has become a public art. Anyone, like I can make a film, you can also make a film. We are on the same boat actually. Can we make good films? That's a different thing. But we can. The affordability, the possibility are now the same to all of us. The cinema halls, which were the projection points, they got changed gradually. So primarily they were the projectors from which you could project the film, the celluloids. But now we could transmit, and with the digital, things got changed. What happened mostly with the digital is that, and what will happen post-COVID, the emergence of these OTT platforms become very important. Is becoming very important. So, internet will play a very important role in this post-COVID syndrome. We all know that in these last 4 or 5 months, we were mainly hooked and glued to Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, Z5, all these stuffs. We have seen films, we have seen web series. So what is this? What is this web series? How it suddenly come up? There were series before. There were television series before. There were internet series before. But web series suddenly come up as a very important genre. The cinema halls are closing, and that's why there are less possibility of films being screened on or projected on the cinema halls. Like we used to go together with friends to see the cinema halls, but now we will not go because you will be fearing corona. So it's a good fear or bad fear, I don't know. The right fear or wrong fear, I don't know. But we will be fearing corona and will not be going to the cinema halls. So where will the filmmakers go? The filmmakers now need a different platform. Like you, people who work in audiovisual, will need a different platform. In this platform, we will explore your things in a different way. Like there will be short films. There are plethora of short films coming out worldwide. So many people are creating short films. A new language of film is coming where we are not even being in the same space. Like I am conversing with you, like I am here shooting in my own camera, and you are there in some other space shooting in your camera. And things are happening. YouTube channels are becoming very popular. And the YouTubers, I think you are aware of the YouTubers around, both in your vernacular language and national language and international language. YouTubers are doing great job in this phase. For example, I have a YouTube channel, which is called Chai Pani. The spelling is CHAEPANI. If you get times, you can just go and see the videos. You'll find that we have a section called Thoughts. 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 It's about I'm in conversation with some friends of mine on certain topic, and those conversations are master classes. Like I am conversing on film, on politics, on music, on literature, on different aspects. So previously, we used to do these conversations on physically. Physically, I'm with that person and conversing. But now, I'm doing it digitally, as a post-corona phenomenon. How? Like I am using my camera as my reference. He is using his camera as his reference. Then I'm intermittently editing these two footages and creating my own timeline. So if you see channels like Scoop Hoop, have you seen, ever came across Scoop Hoop? Or if you see Film Companion, yes, you will find how interviews are getting shaping out in different way, changing their course. We'll find that how short fictions are changing their courses. Theater is also changing its course in different way. We are finding digital theater. So theater is coming out with shot from different places and conjuncting them in a different way. So with this crisis, we are giving rise to different new content. So we should not think content like before, or we cannot think content like before, as we used to think 10 years back, 5 years back, 2 years back, 6 months back also. We cannot think like that. We have to change our thought. This new normal is really, I should say, challenging to us. What I said in the beginning, each time we are trying to be more close to reality. So this is our reality, that we are stuck up in our home. This is our reality, that you cannot go to class and attend the class. We cannot sit together, share tiffin, bunk your class. All these activities you cannot enjoy. So you have to enjoy this one, this online thing. This is a new language of teaching, isn't it? At the same time, there will be new language of audiovisual. We will create new fictions, new non-fictions, both for internet, primarily for internet and for OTT channels, everything, everywhere. So I think it's a mindset that will help you. You will find your own way, and technology will help you in all possible ways. Like I'm talking that, which I expect very much, that these webcams that we see, with which we can see us now, like most of you can see yourself through the webcam in the laptop or the phone, right? The camera put in the laptop on the phone. My prediction is that with Corona, with post-COVID situation, these laptops will change also. The camera of the laptop will change its face. The webcams will change its face. They will give you more option of lenses, of zooming facility, which you cannot. What we see in these web cameras or these phone cameras or the laptop cameras, one single camera, which is quite wide lens, right? You cannot have any control on the camera. But I'm sure with the advent of time, we will have a control on your camera, on the laptop, on the phone, or the webcam that you are using separately. And that is something from where we can take it as a cue point to change our content, devise our new content. So cinema halls going down, multiplexes getting closed, OTT platforms rising, YouTube channels rising, new apps are coming out. Audiovisual is really in a place where we have extreme possibilities. There are restrictions also. I cannot go out, I cannot go and shoot things, cannot have a public screening, but you can have online screening. Online screening, paid screening will increase, and with that you can have certain revenue generation, because all of us should not learn things, we should also have a plan to generate revenues and survive. So be aware of things happening around, be alert, and be innovative. It's time to be innovative. So for those who are just bookish, for those who just are for numbers, the world is not for them anymore. It was for them before. So it's a time for the backbenchers to rule, I always believe. It's very important. Think out of the box. Think creatively. Then only you can survive. Knowing few theories, giving some answer is fine. That is not enough for this world to survive. We have to think, create, innovate, and I'm sure you can do that pretty well. So when I teach to my other students everywhere, so I discuss the same things with them. Like I can talk about myself after the Corona time. So I teach in St. Xavier's also. I launched few short courses of mine, online short courses. They're very interesting. If you can come across these courses, sometime you'll be able to know. On script writing only, maybe a 10-day course on script writing, on film appreciation. So these courses I could not launch 1 year back. But with this new normal, new crisis, I can have thought of launching these courses. Like Zoom. I have never heard of this word Zoom before in my life, before February, before March, before April actually. I've never heard of this word Zoom. The only thing I knew was Skype. That was my highest point of video conversation. But then this Zoom, Google Meet, Hangouts, everything is coming out, and all the politics, crisis, data loss, data being taken away, everything is happening. So yeah, we should be updated with the current time, things happening around me. That is very important. So for the time being, this is what I can say and stop. And I would love to invite your question and discuss things, whatever things you want to discuss, anything you want to ask, I'm there. And if you wish, okay, let's discuss first, then we'll talk later. Anything you want to ask, any question, any queries, anything you want to ask.
Students, you can ask your questions directly to sir, or you can write down the question also. I can ask them.
Yeah.
So please, if you can ask any question.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, like you said about handling the camera, like video camera, the quite big camera, but I have seen a setup when they have a track kind of thing down. What is that for, sir?
Where have you seen this setup? Depends.
I have seen it in Hyderabad, sir.
They're a track, like
yeah.
They're called trolley track. Trolley, where you can put the camera on the trolley and you can small slightly moving a slider, so that you can have an impact. You have seen these shots in films many times. Like the camera moves from one angle to another and taking the close up in a different way, long shot in a different way. It's meant to give a dimension to your shot. One. Secondly, Imagine someone is sitting in front of you. You want to go close, but you don't want to cut and go close. You want to go close slowly towards that person. Then you use this kind of track shots.
So in every short film, a big film, that kind of track is used, sir.
Sorry, every?
In every short film or long-term film, that kind of track is used.
Depends on your budget. If you have a budget, you can use the track. If you don't, if you have lesser budget, you can use something called slider. Slider is it's like a one single rod kind of thing with a wheel on it, and you can put the DSLR camera, Canon 5D, you can put on the rod, and it will just move like this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, I have one question.
Sure.
Sir, is it that track, is it similar to slider steady, which is used in those weddings and all?
Sorry, I can't understand you.
That track which you told, which is used in films for big budgets. So is it similar to that thing which is slider steady, which is used in weddings and all, photographers which they use?
No. The track I'm referring to is more heavy thing, and they're more steady ones, because they are meant to mount big cameras and people around on it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So I have one question.
Sure.
So you said that the digital cameras are now in the market, right? And it's a lot.
Again, I cannot see. Who is it? Can I tell your name?
So I'm Shreya Pradhan.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You said that the digital cameras are in market. They are more cheaper and flexible than the big movie cameras, right? But why does the movie industry still uses this big, like expensive cameras when they can get the same, not same quality, but like a quality video from the digital cameras?
They don't use those cameras anymore.
So, but I can still see in the behind the scenes they have the big like Panavision cameras and all.
Where you have seen that?
Certain behind the scenes of movies.
The cameras look big, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The cameras look big. That doesn't mean the cameras are big actually. What happens that you use a certain camera, then use the gear and accessories. That makes the camera big actually. You have a blocker, then you have a closure. So that makes the camera look big. But they're not those big cameras. One. Secondly, why people use expensive cameras? That depends on, there are a few cameras which are big, but they're digital still. Because they have different lenses, they have different high-end lenses, they have certain sensor quality which is very good. So all these things that does matter for the camera. Not big or small, but yeah, they are mostly small. They are not more than this size. This is the maximum size of the camera you can see.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a question.
Yeah. Sure, please.
So normally we know that the shooting ratio of a film is something between 1:10 and 1:20. But also there are films like Apocalypse Now, which has a shooting ratio of 1:97. So there are many films which exceeded the shooting ratio of a normal thing. So don't they face problems? Like, because normally we know that while planning out the budget in the pre-production stage, they need to plan out the like above the line cost, below the line cost, and contingency. So even when they're keeping the contingency in mind, then can as far I know that they can only keep the 10% of both the above the line and below the line cost. So don't they face any problem if the shooting ratio is so high, like 1:97 or 1:100 sometimes?
Imagine you going to a very expensive restaurant and ordering your food, and Anil Ambani going to a very expensive restaurant, same restaurant, and ordering his food. You will order your food very carefully so that there is no wastage, because you have a limited money with you. But Anil, it doesn't matter to Anil Ambani. So he can order 4 balls of soup, even they are 3 persons together. 1 ball can just be extra. They can order 4 big balls, so they can have two spoons of soup. Rest they can just leave it. But you cannot afford to do that, because you have to order it very carefully, thinking of your appetite, thinking of the people you are, and that's the answer. When Apocalypse is being shot with 1:97 ratio, if that's the right information, then the only answer is that they are from capitalist country. And so it's capital that does matter. When we are shooting in a third world country, we are very careful about our footages, very careful about the things we are more planned actually. Forget apocalypse. I'm talking about when we are shooting in Kolkata in Bangla industry and we're someone shooting in Bollywood, the ratio matters a lot. So I cannot afford to shoot like Karan Johar because he can afford to spend that money because he has that budget. When we don't have that budget, what we have more skill. We have to be more skillful in planning your shots, planning on everything. Like it is said that people during the celluloid time were more skillful in planning their shots than one we are in the digital era. Because in digital era, I can afford to take 3 more shots, no problem. But in celluloid, imagine 3 more shots means 12,000 gone instantly. So I have to keep that in mind. So it's your socio-economic structure and background that will help you develop your skill set. Yeah,
So do you think this change where pictures were screened on movie theaters, movie cinema halls, theaters were there, but now in our present situation, movies are just releasing digitally on platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that, and theaters have almost vanished, you can say. So this change, is it a change for good? Do you think it's a good change?
It's too early to say it's a good or bad because we need time to say. But no, I will not say it's a good change because theaters is important. Cinema, when it was born, it has a certain magic. That dark theater hall, people seeing things together, that has certain purpose and some magic. That magic will be lost. 1,000 people seeing something together and enjoying, being happy together, clapping together, being sad together, coming out of silence, all these have an impact, sociological impact also. Cinema can move someone. If you see Masan, for example, you feel deeply moved with certain kind of film. If you see Hera Fairy, you'll be bursting into laughter. So doing things together is a very important social phenomenon. We'll be missing that. Definitely that's a loss to us. But again, with digital, I think new language will come of filmmaking. That will be something important. We need to wait and watch what's happening in future.
So I have a follow-up question, sir.
Yeah.
So if it is not a good change, then why is it happening?
Because you are not going to the cinema. Did you go to the cinema in the last few months?
Yes, I mean not COVID.
No, I'm
COVID
talking
has
about
changed
COVID
everything.
in this COVID period, did you go to the cinema hall?
No, sir.
So if you don't go to the cinema, how will cinema survive? So, yeah.
Yes, sir. So, as we know that people are going gaga over the web series part, OTT platforms. So, how is it actually technically different from cinema? I know that the web series there is, as such, if you see, there is parts to it, sections to it. Is there any technical changes that goes behind a web series, not to a cinema?
There should be technical changes, but that doesn't happen around. But there are thematic changes that can happen. Like when you're writing a script for a film script should have a beginning, middle, and end in a certain structure. It has to be an rising action, like an introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, and closure. This is the structure of a narrative that happens in cinema. But in a web series, there has to be a hook point after every episode. So it happens like this, and this, and this. So every time you raise one issue, hook the audience, leave it. Second episode begins from that hook point, resolve it, and create another hook point and crisis. So the structure, the script structure of a web series is completely different from how you write the script of an feature film. But technically, what's the difference? When you see a film, imagine you are seeing a film in London, that big screen. If you see a close-up, it will look very big on the screen, right? Imagine you taking a close-up, seeing a close-up in a cinema. But you're seeing a close-up in a OTT, it will be like this only, this size only. It will be not that disturbing. So when I'm shooting for cinema, my dimension, my composition for taking a close-up will vary from my dimension of the composition of taking close-up in OTT platform. Because where will I see the OTT movie? Either in laptop or in mobile phone. So laptop is the highest, or maybe in my television screen, if it's a smart TV. So a smart TV is the highest reference of my highest size of my projection. Imagine the size of a smart TV or a mobile phone and size of a big screen, Priya or Nandon or anywhere. Anyway, I'm just talking in any multiplex, Inox, how big it is. So keeping that in mind, I need to compose my frames. So that's a very important technical things that should happen. It's not happening always, but content-wise, script-wise, that's important. You have group points, you have different climax, multiple climax. That will make it more interesting. Yeah.
So
yeah, sure.
I want to say that day by day we can see.
Who is it? Can you tell your name? I can see you on primary screen.
Sorry.
Shayan.
So I want to say that day by day we can see that the concept and the contents of our films and web series are getting more intimated. That our filmmakers are adding nudity, sexuality, and many of them. So did you think that our country or pupils like us, not us, like elders, they can accept this? Because there are more and more complications in viewers. So what do you say about this?
So it is okay with you, right? So they consider you as the primary target audience. The moment it is okay with you, so they are fulfilling the idea of your target audience. Elders, like your mom, dad, or your grandfathers, are they Netflix viewers primarily?
No.
No. So Netflix doesn't
but
care.
They also see you.
How much percentage of the nation?
20%.
It's very small percent. Very small percent. Such a minuscule percent who sees, like, my dad doesn't see Netflix. Forget my grandma. So they doesn't see Netflix. So Netflix is not bothered with them. They are not the target. The moment you will have problem, Netflix will change the content. As you don't have any problem with nudity or any dark thing, or but I know what you're mentioning too. So much of killing, bloodshed, everything. So this youth, this OTT was primarily meant for the target of the youth. So when this youth is accepting it and seeing it, giving viewership, more subscription is happening. The moment you subscribe, you need to write your age, sex, and everything. Remember? So they have a database in front of you. Who is subscribing? So who is my new subscriber? So based on the database, they're creating their content. This is very important. OTT is very statistics-based thing. It's not film. When we make film, we don't have statistics in front of me. Who will be I cannot choose my my audience. I don't.
So also, sir, I want to say that the contents are the commercial film contents are not like those before. Like they have no actual proper very hard contents. They're more flirtings and anything about those. So is this a culture? Like I'm telling about the Tollywood commercial films.
You mean to say that they're becoming more sleazy?
Yes.
More cheap, you can say.
Yes.
Okay. Can you name one or two films which you want to mention?
Commercial films, like like this all.
Which one?
I'm not able to pronounce. Yes, like those all things. Those all films.
What those all? I don't know under those all. So mention that is one name. The kind of film where you see culture is not being maintained.
Like Paglu or
True. Let me give you example of Paglu.
Okay.
Paglu, I assume, is a remake of an South Indian film, if I'm not mistaken. So once upon a time, this remake culture came up with certain ferocity, but then it gradually eroded. Nowadays, we'll not see films like Paglu anymore happening because they failed. Audience rejected them. Definitely, they are not part of our culture. Definitely, I agree to you completely. But also, it's fact that these Paglu films are not popular nowadays anymore. You have not seen any Paglu film being released last 1 or 2 years. They have released, but they have not been accepted and being popular. So audience will eventually reject them the moment they will find them not adhering to their culture. I found that Nirabhuri raised the hand, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes, sir.
Ah.
So, can I ask my question? Debashish sir, my question is, I mean, I'm just deviating from the real issue. I'm just going into a little bit deeper. But my question is, do you consider this kind of change, I mean, this new normal situation, is also a new kind of rise of monopoly? I mean, this monopoly can be cultural monopoly and also economical monopoly.
Very important question. Any kind of change do give rise to different emergence of different structure. So when we deconstruct one structure, we again rise to another structure only. The moment there is a structure, there is a power equation that happens. And there are fair chances of monopoly that can happen. Let me give an example like multiplexes. When the multiplexes were in vogue, they were very powerful and they had a monopoly. So like I remember when I went to get the distribution time for my film, they just, they always treat the big shots, the biggies as a priority. Then you'll give a new filmmaker, independent filmmaker as the second or third priority, and they'll not give you proper timing. But the moment the Gulabo Sitabo was released in Amazon, the multiplex gave a statement that they are very bereaved and they don't want these things to happen. So suddenly they changed their voice. And then when the multiplex OTT coming into vogue, now the plethora of things coming in OTT. There's so many. Everyone is doing. Again, you throw a stone, you hit a web series maker. This is going to happen very soon. The monopoly is starting gradually. One of our friend, who is a filmmaker, Omorto, he's from Odisha. He made a very interesting film, but Amazon Prime rejected to buy that film because it is made in Odia language, and Odia is a language which they don't accept in their. Imagine how the audacity they have. They said among the 6 language films that they are now buying, they don't consider Odia as one of the language. But that film which I have seen is a very nice film. It's a wonderfully made film. So you will not find regional films too much in these OTT platforms. You will see only a certain kind of Hindi films, certain Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Bangla cinema is fine. But these are now mainstream circulation. But you will not find Khasi film in OTT, not Odia film.
Even the other languages are there available. Those languages are mostly dependent on the industry equation, like mostly from Tamil and
This monopoly is going to hit soon. So that's why I don't believe in the existence of only one medium. I believe that when there was multiplex having the monopoly, I wanted the OTP to run parallel. When the OTP is having their monopoly, I want the film theater should be standing equally important to you, and also there should be new mediums coming in front of you, more than this Netflix, Amazon thing, and theater, something else like My Cinema Hall app. I don't know we're aware of that or not. It's an app where we can install in your phone, and then you can see films in that app in a different way. So new technologies are coming also. You can pay and watch things are coming.
Even I heard a very interesting thing 2 days back from my friend that in Kolkata there is a place where you can book the whole theater. I mean, it's a kind of a 12 or 14 seater theater, right. And you can book that, and you can go with a friend. You can order the movie. I mean, you can place the order, like what do you want to see, and you can experience.
I'm sure these new small things will coming up very soon. Like I have seen these things when I was in USA have seen this kind of movie hall where you can have 20 people to see the movie. Very private screening kind of thing with coffee. So it's kind of cafe movie kind of thing, and it's very cool. I think, and their projection is quite good, unlike us. If you see a place like London 3, it can hold 100 around. Such small pockets will come up, I'm sure, very soon. If you see in the Kala Correction Studios, in the preview theaters, the preview theaters can have 30, 20. The Prasad preview theater, they have 20 people who can see the film together. So they may rent it for the outside audience, and a new emergence of crowd can come. So these are the possibilities that definitely we would love to see. Should wait and watch. There's a thing we are doing now. Hard times. Yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
This is somewhere linked to what Niravari's question is, also like somewhere close to it. So actually, previously with one of the answers, you were telling that about the language of cinema. We are like accustomed to see films in large format, large screens, and the lens blocking and the shot taken, the magnification is all divided in the way of language to tell the story, to carry on with the narrative in that language of the cinema. So now, we are seeing that a lot of films are being released in the OTT platforms, and a lot are in the pipeline also. Like I am sure that in the future, many other films, international and national, will be released on such OTT platforms. So do you think that the director need to redevise the language of cinema to be fitting into the screen that we are watching, maybe the laptop or the say the mobile or maybe a smart TV? So should you think that they should redevise the language of cinema, a visual language?
Nice question. I think so. I think it is very important to revise this thing. That's why I answered partially to one of my students who just asked now that about the close-ups, as I said. So when I'm blocking, I need to have in mind it's made for what? What is the purpose of this shooting? I'm shooting this film for a release in OTT. So I have a screen size maximum of this dimension. Keeping the dimension of my projection, I will devise my shots. So I should not be using a certain shot structure which is made for larger than life. But even if you want to make larger than life, I need to redefine this sense of larger than life. And that is one thing we should not make a mistake. It should not be made for visual only. Sound is very important aspect. We're ignoring this point of sound. Sound should be taken care of digitally, and how we can work with sound in a certain way. Like, for example, I'm talking to you. When we see films, we have a thing called 5.1 sound, right?
Yes,
we have an idea, 5.1 things happening. That was made by Dolby, which is a registered sound platform for a certain kind of setup having in your theater, where you have actually 32 sound boxes spread across in a certain point of your hall, where you devise your sound, where the sound will move from one point to another. But this is not valid when you're still hearing in the headphone. If you're using a 7-track stereophonic sound in a headphone, it will be disturbing and jarring to you. So you have to redevise your sound design also, which we are ignoring constantly. The moment we talk about digital, we finally end up with DSLR camera. No, sound has also been digital. How do we use from this optical sound to digital sound? How you use the texture of digital sound? How the mono sound and the 5.1 sound, 7-track stereophonic sound, how they're different, and how in this new normal structure, new media projection, how you can use my sound is very important. Everything needs to be redefined and thought. It's our responsibility.
Like that is the real change.
Oh yes, definitely. Definitely, and we should be updated and upgraded every day. That's why I was saying, only learning theories and giving answers should not be your motto. You should take it more seriously and start thinking things and taking it more seriously, because the world is getting harsher and difficult in the future.
And as Ritik Ghatak said, bhava practice karo.
Yeah, that's very important.
That's just become more important now.
Yeah, very important now. And we are so much out of practice, so
Actually, we have stopped.
completely. Okay. Anything else you want to ask? Anything you can ask. Any query, any observation? I know it's too,
Any other questions? Please ask. Yes,
I mean,
Shreya.
it's a fine morning and you're having too much a bombardment of information, but yeah. Shreya, want to ask something?
Yes,
Raise your hand.
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, as we know, the cinema, the face of cinema is also changing. But I've observed that the storyline that audience prefer also is changing. Like before in Bollywood, the storyline used to be just like a heroine falling in love, then solving their problems, then again like dancing the songs. And now, like more diversity in cinema has come. Like more darker themes are being popular. So this like the trend of the storyline are being changed too. So what do you think is responsible for that change of the storyline or the trending storylines that audience prefer, the audience or the creator of the films or different storylines? So
Yeah, nice. The more we get exposed to more important things, our storylines can get changed. Like it's not that there were not different storylines. There were multiple storylines of different subject
new
aspects
ones were
being made before also, but they were not being marketed. It did not came to us. Like if you see films of Shyam Benegal, Govind Nihalni, there are a lot of Hindi films being made by them. Tapan Sinha find very interesting storylines and very interesting subjects, but they are not marketed in the mainstream. Now mainstream has incorporated those storylines. So that's why we can see them very easily and appreciate them, and that is changing. We are exposed to the world cinema. We're exposed with internet to the things happening around the world. So borrowing is happening. People can accept things. So yeah, that this change is constant. That change is inevitable.
So can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, I believe that there is nothing wrong in making films which doesn't go with the culture, because sometimes some films are made to pose a challenge to the society by upholding the societal taboos and glorify it. For example, there are films by Stanley Kubrick like Lolita, which is an adaptation of a novel, and there's also a film by I'm forgetting the name of the director, but the name of the film is The Dreamers.
Is
The Dreamers.
okay.
I guess the director is Bertolucci. Maybe I'm not pronouncing the name correctly.
So yeah, I get your point that it's not that we should always adhere to the norm that is happening.
Exactly.
We should challenge the norm and create something. In Indian cinema, there are many examples where it is challenged the quote-unquote cultural practice happening, and yeah, that's what an artist should do. It should not always play in the same field. It should play in different fields also, not in the home ground.
So I want to add to Indraksh's. Actually, I also believe that there is nothing wrong with a particular language. Supposedly, I'm making a film and a lot goes into it. A lot of money, a lot of effort. So why not? At the end of the day, everyone is here to earn something, if not a huge amount. So if India is basically focused on a Hindi culture or an English culture, I would probably intending to that particular audience. For an Orissa speaking person, the percentage is very particular. So I think that language is at a very broad spectrum.
True, but nowadays in the world where we are living in, language is not a barrier to anything. Like sitting here, I can see films in. Shyam, can you get away with the mobile, please, there for me to concentrate? Yeah. When you're sitting in, we can see Japanese cinema, we can see Korean cinema, we can see Philippine cinema, we can see any cinema of the world. So when the language doesn't matter to any world cinema, why should language matter to any Indian regional cinema? So it's not the language, it's the content that is important. Because with subtitle on, we can, the language barrier is gone for the world in all possible ways. So if I can market things in proper way, any can market any language. I can also market Khasi language film. It's important whether I want to market it or not. That's how capitalist economy and monopoly works in their own way.
Yes, I would like to add to what actually Sir said to Sneha. Like, see, most of the world cinema that we see are of different languages only, and we just get to know what they're speaking or the dialogues through the subtitles. So as Sir said, there the language is not the problem. It is the intent to promote other like other than the usual languages that we see, Hindi, Bengali, maybe Tamil. These are the popular languages, but the intent that if I want to show the other languages or what people of other languages are doing also.
Yes, sir. But with the commercial aspect of it, targeted audience is very broad. It's a Hindi commercial.
That is what I'm trying to say. If the commercial aspect is only, we have to build a commercial aspect. That is, yeah. If we don't let it happen only, then how are you going to build it? We have to take the small steps.
Okay, so I think I've got the answer from Manish sir. Yes, good. So yeah,
Sir, I would like to ask a question.
Sure. Who is it?
Ishani.
Yeah.
So I would like to just ask that we have seen that our movies are changing quite a lot these days, but our television shows are not changing really. We are getting the same scripts over and over again. The shows are really cliched, and we are just seeing different productions of the same script, and it's really getting really boring. So why are our television shows not changing? Why are they not taking any risks?
I'll tell them, give the person the question to them, because some of them whom I know, that why they are not changing things and people are protesting it. I think they are not changing because people are seeing them. So as people are seeing them, they're consuming them in every household. The moment they will stop seeing, though it's true that it's difficult to stop seeing now, but yeah, they're primarily market-driven thing. So they're playing with the flow. The moment people stop seeing them, they will get less of TRPs, and someone will come up with some interesting content. That content will become popular. Then they will again start changing the content to in those flow. That's how things happen. But yeah, definitely things should change. Television is getting very boring nowadays.
Yes, sir. But I've seen that when a show, the TRPs when they drop, they just come up with the same script but with different characters and with different cast. That just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, doesn't work like that, and also they don't have proper survey with people. When they say that people doesn't work, they have no idea who people is. They have not met any people in their life. So that's an important crisis. They need to know your mass, the psychology of the mass. It really talk to the mass to know what. So they assume a certain imagine community as the mass. So that's the problem with them. Okay. I'll pass on this problem to them. Sure.
Their idea of people is very vague, actually.
Yeah, very vague.
With the television for some years, I know that their idea of people is very vague.
But I think another point can be the history of Indian soap opera and cinema is actually the mechanism is a little bit different. So they're always I mean television soap opera always depends on more regional and more cozy kind of group of people. It is actually more divided in terms of audience. So it is not like that only soap operas are available on television. There are other programs where the TG is actually somebody else. TG is actually different. So yeah, we can say that for soap opera it is boring because it need to be. It is catering to a particular class of people. So I think that can be another point.
Yeah, but the soap opera was not like this before when there was Doordarshan. And
yeah.
When satellite television came for the first time, the soap operas being made at the time were not like that. But after there's a lot to discuss on this.
Yeah,
how soap operas change their face, what are the political and ideological content that help them to change their face, how Indian cinema influenced soap opera.
Yeah.
Everything is so interlinked. It is not an independent thing to discuss, because the moment we see this, they're wearing kanjivaram and going to sleep and waking up from sleep with ornaments, how much is Hamak Hakon responsible for creating this image? How much does this K series of Ekta Kapoor is responsible for creating this series? It's very interlinked. It's very interlinked. So yeah.
And most interesting thing is that you will see that all of the channels come with similar kind of contents.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Mikita, I just want to ask you another question, which is, I mean, for digital, I mean, for this digital space, we know that it is more fragmented and fleeting kind of space. So, this fragmented and fleeting kind of environment is not only physical space but also psychological space. So, I want to know that how that is affecting the audiovisual medium. I mean, how different audiovisual medium has to change the concept of space in representation and in concept also, in cultural connotation also.
I just love to ask before that, what do you mean by changing psychological space? What is your aspect of?
Psychological, for example, I can give you an example of web series. I mean, this web series are introducing a lot of space, which is, I will not say illusionary, but more constructive. It is constructed. Like I can give you an example like Umbrella Academy. So it is talking about a multi-spatial thing, space that belongs to somewhere, but it is not physical. Space of Bulbul. So sometimes it is real and sometimes it is actually not real. And also it is very fragmented. If you will see that concept of space is also very fragmented as we experience in digital. So that is what I mean by psychological space.
Okay, you mean that only. But to me, it is nothing new. We have seen such kind of psychological space being explored in world cinema many times before. If you take the example of Bulbul, also in Umbrella Academy. What is more interesting to me is that post-COVID, when things are being made, new kind of space, new kind of thematic space are being introduced in the film. Like, for example, Netflix UK, not Netflix International, but not Netflix India, Netflix UK has created a series called Lockdown series, where they have created a series of short films and just made it neat in one big whole, where in all the films, they are not made on lockdown, but there is a sense of lockdown in all the films. Either the characters are locked somewhere, like we have seen the film Trapped.
Yeah.
Either the characters are locked somewhere, or they feel claustrophobic, or they feel constricted. So all the characters of different class, creed, situation, social aspect, but a sense of being locked is the theme. I found it very interesting. They're not talking about COVID, not about Corona, not about lockdown phase, nothing. It's normal life. All the stories are happening 5 years back. But everybody find all the aspect that lockdown has created on us, all the mental health issues, all the sense of being, I mean, a feeling is very important. I'm feeling getting locked. I'm feeling claustrophobic. I'm feeling inability. My inability is coming up because I cannot work properly. So these are the thematic connections of this series. I found it very interesting, and it exactly answered your question. This kind of innovation should come, where the sense of new space, new ideas will mesh together and jot down together. Yeah, and it's
Sir,
always
I have a
unfortunate
question.
that we have to give reference to their work. Why can't we think? We should also think of such things, and so that they are somewhere in an island in Finland, they give reference to that in Kolkata, a few people did like this. I want that to happen. That's very important. Yeah. You were asking something?
Prapti, just to interrupt, we can take 2 more questions. We are really out of time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 12:25, right.
And so we'll take Prapti's question and then we can have with 1 more question. Okay, before we end.
If there's any question at all.
Yes. Please, Prapti, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, if the green curtains can be used for the film, then, sir, what is the need of going out for the shoot?
Okay. Green curtains cannot solve everything. That's for sure. Green curtains do solve things in different ways, but they cannot solve everything. True. The answer is not the green curtain, but the answer is that animation and digital, they will play a very important role, and graphics, they will play a very important role in future. How these graphics will devise, like Life of Pi, which was made in the studio. Almost the entire film was made in a studio. We didn't use We don't go to Atlantic to shoot the entire thing. There was no tiger, definitely. So these kind of things will emerge, definitely. But if you see very carefully that these films looks real because they are very expensive. It is very expensive to look real. Like the tiger was made in 6 different countries. Someone made the fur of the tiger, someone made the skeleton, someone made the bone structures, everything. So it's very expensive thing. Working on graphics and animation is very expensive to make it more real. And if you don't make it real, things will fall apart. We'll find very disturbing. So there's the one flip side and good side. But yeah, definitely graphics and animation will come up. Though green curtain will not solve everything, but it can solve many things. Sort out for the time being, but they're not the solution. Definitely.
So one more thing. So is there any hard and fast rule for filmmaking? Like it is, we need to stick to one thing for this. We need to stick to one thing for that.
Who is asking? I cannot see that. I cannot see who is asking this.
Yes, sir. I'm Sudipta Maiti.
Sudipta. Okay. Yeah.
So as you said that we need to think out of the box, like we need to think much. So is there any hard and fast rule to stick with that?
Yeah.
We need to do this.
Yeah.
Or else otherwise.
There's only hard and fast rule. There's only one rule that you need to observe and you need to think out of the box. These are the 2 very important rules. There's no other rule in the process of filmmaking. Rest will be taught in your college. They will teach you everything. But apart from those teaching, they will teach you the techniques and how to make film. But 2 important things which they will not be able to teach you, no class can teach you, is your power of observation. You need to see, know things, hear, feel, and also think, not in a prescribed way. Think out of the box as much as you can. Don't repeat, don't copy, don't play with the gallery. Try to create your own identity. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much.
I think
we have.
This brings us to the end. I will ask Nirabari to close the session.
Yes, before concluding, did you like the session or?
Liked it very much.
It was very interesting.
Yes, sir.
This was the best.
Very nice.
Informative. If it is informative, it's good. Then
yes,
very much informative.
If you have any other query, if you have anything you want to ask later, you can always contact me. I'm always available. You can take the number from Manish sir or Nirabari ma'am. Or you can, Manish, can I give them my number now here?
Yeah, please go ahead. No problem, sir.
Okay. So can you write it down? It's 98306.
Yes, sir.
75587.
98306 then, sir.
75587. Let me write it there.
755?
87. So you can always, for any kind of query, discuss, share, I'm there. You can WhatsApp me. I'm in Facebook and follow my wall. You can see things happening.
Sir, I have already sent you the friend request. Will you please accept it?
You are so quick.
That's why
generation.
So and follow me, the kind of work I do in Facebook. You can follow the YouTube channel Chai Pani. You can see the kind of work I do. I work in audiovisual. So yeah, let's see. And thank you for being such a good listener.
Thank you so much, sir, for the session.
Thank you. Nirabari, over to you.
Yeah, Nirabari, please close the session.
Okay, it's really nice to hear from you, Devanshish sir. We discussed about not only this current situation, but also we actually kind of make a connection with the history of cinema, that how cinema got evolved over the years, and we have reached this current situation, and how I believe that cinema as a medium, it's always changes. It always changes. Its form, its emotion, its language. So the same will be continuing in the future. And we also discussed about technicalities and how we can match up with the current situation, and for that we need to adopt certain kind of technical things, and also we need to change the language of cinema. And we also discussed, in terms of reception, that how cinema is changing its or catering to the audience, which has a specific goal. I mean, which has a certain kind of cultural background. So thank you very much, Devashish sir. We always get delighted listening to you, and thank you very much. Thank you, Manish, for organizing this session with all the students. And এমনিতেও Mikida half work is done. I mean, Mikida explain করে দিয়েছে history of cinema, মোটামুটি early cinema 10টা lecture cover আমার।
No, not like that. I didn't want to do that blasphemy. I just wanted to put the background, set them the background. It will be easy for you to take it from there.
তুমি ভালো করেছো, আমার 10 ঘন্টা কমে গেল।
ভালোই, তোমার তো কম সময় লাগে তোমার।
No, don't make me feel guilty. But serious note, it's always good to be talking with students, and it's always good to be working with people like Neeraj Bori and Monish. They're very close to me. We have a long association for quite a long time. Also with iLead as an organization, definitely.
50% iLead.
Yeah, you have to bear me at times in iLead. I can assume also will come across in some awkward situation. But yeah, we'll meet surely. Thank you for the timing. All the best and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Devashish sir, Nirabari, and the students. We'll be looking forward for more such sessions in the coming days. Okay, and then bye. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.